そんなことよりもこれなんだ
I watched the entirety of Apothecary Diaries in a week. And I also spent that same week being mad at it, because it can show you that the main character is having feelings by drawing cat ears on her head, and that this man is heartbroken because there are mushrooms growing on his. And yet it forgets to let the main protagonist show any emotion you can actually point to. I really did not want to fall for this pretty boy that runs a harem, and yet he is the only character that actually made me stick around.
And I haven't seen anybody else talk about this.
So I bet you are aware of the Apothecary Diaries. I mean, it's an amazing show. It's got no business being anything less than perfect.
The show follows Maomao as she is forced to work in the Emperor's rear palace as poison taster. What starts as her simply trying to survive turns into her and Jinshi solving mysteries with her specific knowledge in medicine. And she is brilliant at this, yet remaining down to earth, even winning this year's Best Main Character Award.
It scored nearly a 9 on my anime list. And they're not wrong, she is brilliant, but she's brilliant in episode 1. And she's brilliant in episode 48. Same person. The show treats her intelligence as a personality trait and her competence as the entire arc. She solves things, and that's it. That's her entire journey throughout 2 seasons. Everyone says that Maomao carries the show, but I don't think that's true. So, for example, the show gives Maomao the most devastating backstory of all the characters in it. Like, I'm talking, her mother was a courtesan that contracted syphilis, her father a military strategist, and he abandoned them both through sheer social incompetence. Her mother went mad. She even started to mutilate herself as well as her daughter just to send this monster a message. And when Maomao was growing up, she was growing up in a system that was using women like inventory. Like, that backstory could power an entire series of character development. And when the show reveals that Laken is her biological father, all we get is her showing annoyance for a very brief second, and then she kind of goes along, shrugs it off, and moves on to the next puzzle. Like, seriously, this build-up was happening throughout 3 episodes, and this is all that we get. Just a brief moment where she shows an emotion, and we move on. And I know what some diehard fans are gonna say. In the light novel, this is shown a lot more. The director Naganuma even said in an interview that Maomao does not understand love. This is her way of processing that trauma that she's gone through. And it is true that this light novel, where the manga and anime is based on, you get a lot more of an insight of what's actually happening in her. And in the anime, they also show some internal monologue, but I would not say that it was convincing enough for me to realize what she's actually going through, because the internal monologue was mostly just her still being very witty about everything. So in the anime, all that's left on screen is this character that barely portrays any emotion with all these things happening around her. And you kind of get nothing. And when you compare that to every moment where Jinshi is on screen, and you're starting to really see a gap between these two. But the anime does not just shy away from showing Maomao's emotions. This is a story about the rear palace of the emperor, where there are thousands of women, and they are basically a harem there for the pleasure of the emperor. And even Maomao's whole history before she got here is a product of this system of just consuming women. And the show knows this. Like, it does give you real women with actual histories. They are very interesting. Gyokyo navigating palace politics with lethal precision. Like the growth in the growth in Liua after Maomao saved her life. Awesome to see. Like, I'm talking about her not just giving up her ability to have children, but also giving up her own son to protect him. These women have weight, and they are amazing to hear their backstories, to learn more about them. But all of these stories kind of live inside side arcs that happen through 1 or 2 episodes at a time max. while our main character is still just busy solving puzzles. And all of this is happening while sex work is the backdrop, and it is highlighted, but it is never fully explored. And don't get me wrong, I do really like Maomao. There is just something missing in her. And when I look online to see if people are actually talking about this, I mostly see them talking about whether or not Jinshi is a red flag. So let's talk about him. Jinshi is the administrator of the Rear Palace. He is beautiful in a way that the show absolutely will not let you forget. I'm talking about women losing their composure, men losing their composure, even me losing my composure in the store. He's a very calm and collected guy that is constantly making these quite big decisions over this group of thousands of women. And yet, when Maomao actually left the palace, he sits there in a corner sulking with mushrooms growing on his head. And it's a joke, but look at what this is actually doing. Like, this man, he is running the inner workings of this imperial court. And yet when the person that he wants walks away, he sits there like an actual child, just absolutely not knowing what to do with himself anymore.
And the show lets him be pathetic in a humiliating way, especially given his position in the palace.
There is this training scene where Jinshi is working out and he's looking all powerful because he is strong. And he kind of comes to this realization that his relationship with Maomao is going to be impossible. Not because of her feelings towards him or that there's a rival or whatever. It's the system that they are in. Their different positions basically make it impossible for them to be together. And when he finally realizes this, he crumbles again and he falls apart. To me, this really shows something that I have been missing in the rest of the characters. There's this other instance in season 2 where Jinshi goes up to Gyokyo because Maomao is currently working for her and he really wants her. While he's asking to get Maomao back, he kind of circles around it. He doesn't really say her name, says this certain servant, and Gyokyo is having a field day with it because she is just making him go in all of these circles for her own amusement. And that is the development that you can see. It's not just this backstory of understanding somebody's history and understanding where they come from. This is a guy struggling right in front of us in real time a few episodes later, and he does it. He's direct, he says what he wants.
And the show does not make a big deal out of this. It's just something that happens during the episode and then it quickly moves on.
But to me, who's been watching this guy struggle with not being able to get what he wants for 1.5 seasons, this moment was big and it was powerful and it was so awesome to see. Like, this is the guy why I am watching this show for. Like, this show is very much able to give you very interesting side characters with lots of background and a brilliant main character that is capable of handling all of these things that are thrown at her. But it only has one character that actually matters to the story and who is growing. I don't think Apothecary Diaries deserves this character. Not because the show is bad, it's just because the show is kind of inconsistent. And I kept coming back to this throughout watching these all 48 episodes. Whenever this was another puzzle to solve, whenever it was just another episode filled with Maomao. It was interesting, I liked her, but it was not really worth it for me until I saw what Jinshi was doing to the story. And then of course the question becomes, well, why should you care? Because it's still a very entertaining story and it's like one of the most popular shows right now, and I love the amount of attention that it's getting because it is finally a show where I feel like me as a female anime watcher can really enjoy it because you have women without the fan service, which is amazing to see. I think what it shows is just that you only really need to have one character in an anime to make it compelling to somebody who is a sucker for character development. That's all I've got to say about it. Thank you very much for watching me. I hope you enjoyed yourself and I hope to see you come back for more. Bye! Look at my local pharmacy.